Hello and welcome to Richmond TV's Community Focus. I'm your host, Jason Robbins, and we have a great show lined up for you today. We've got John Moore, City Manager of the City of Richmond, talking about the reopening of city facilities. Hi, John. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. So, how is City Hall fully reopening?
Well, we put out on our website about a week ago our city facility reopening plan, and it kind of has 3 stages currently. Last week, which was kind of June 8th through the 12th, we had full staff reporting to all of our city facilities. They weren't yet open to the public. At that point, City Hall was open by appointment, and then we had to use the Dropbox. Certainly online payments, those sorts of things were still going on. In the Lois Wagner Memorial Library, they started on that Tuesday of that week their curbside service again. And so with that, they were able to at least start having some service to the community through the library. The city parks last week opened up. For the play structures, we took the caution tape off of those. And that was kind of the first phase. The second phase, which we're in this week, which is June 15th through the 19th, City Hall, Police Department, Community Center, and DPW, those facilities are open to the public. People can come in and get service face-to-face. The Lois Wagner Memorial Library during this week still continues to operate curbside only. They're still working on their plan to kind of be open to the public. And that takes us to kind of our third phase, which is June 22nd and beyond. At that point, the library will open up to the public. There will be certain social distancing and numbers restrictions on how many people can go into the library, and you can find all of that information on the library website.
Okay. Now, what is expected of the public when coming into City Hall?
Sure. We've made some changes here, and certainly when the public comes in, we ask that you wear masks, just like many other businesses. Most people are accustomed to that. So when you're in our lobby here at City Hall, we ask that you wear a mask. We do have a hand sanitizing station right as you walk in, so we encourage everyone to use that. And then, like most people are becoming familiar with, we have the X's on the ground that are 6 feet apart to kind of let people know where they should stand as they wait in line for the counter. As I said, most people have that X or stand here sign sticker on the floor, so we're no different here at City Hall, and we encourage people to stand on those X's as they wait to come up to the counter.
Would you still encourage people to use the online payment system and the Dropbox more often?
Absolutely. Through this whole time in the COVID-19 pandemic, we still encourage everyone to use the online payments or the Dropbox out front as much as possible. I mean, any amount of kind of in-person transactions that we can reduce reduces the chance of the spread of COVID.
Are there any services at City Hall that are being indefinitely suspended?
Yes, unfortunately, we had been at City Hall, Library, and the Rec Center. We had boxes out that were collecting the plastic bags for plastic bag recycling, just due to the logistics of trying to get those down to other stores and everything. It's storage capacity here at the city. We've had to temporarily suspend that service. So if you have plastic bags, unfortunately, you can't bring them here to City Hall or the library or the community center anymore. So that's temporarily suspended. The prescription drug drop-off that was here in our lobby, again, due to just kind of the logistics of getting those down to the county. During the COVID, we've had to suspend that. And then notarizing documents at City Hall. Right now it's temporarily suspended. There's just too much passing back and forth of paperwork for our employees to be comfortable notarizing documents at this point.
Okay. Well, now with the Parks and Rec, will Camp Richmond or the pool be opening this summer?
We've had to make a very difficult decision. There was a executive order recently that kind of suddenly opened potential to have a pool or summer camp, and for a number of reasons that I've outlined on a public release that can be found at cityofrichmond.net, we've had to make the difficult decision not to open Camp Richmond or the pool this year. Camp Richmond, we have a wide range of children that attend that camp, and trying to successfully keep them socially distant just to us was too great a task at this point, and this late in the game in the summer. The pool, some of those same safety factors came into mind. The governor had automatically restricted the numbers to 50% in the pool, which our capacity is 160. That would have taken it down to 80. But even at 80 people in the pool, on a warm day, you still need 3 lifeguards. And unfortunately, back in May or April, when we're normally hiring lifeguards, we didn't have a clear direction from the governor on whether pools would be open at all. So I couldn't promise those lifeguards jobs at that time. And for their own sake, because many of them needed the money for school in the fall, those sorts of things, they found other employment. And when the notice came down that we could open the pool, the lifeguards weren't there to safely open our pool. I know there's other neighboring communities that were in the same boat. They had announced that they were opening their pool, and then called me back a day later because we were all calling around to each other saying, finding out what they were doing, and said, we've only found 2 lifeguards, and we were kind of in the same boat. So it was just a very, very difficult decision, and we're still looking at what other things we can do this summer, but the camp and pool are closed.
So with that, but our recreation department has been getting creative. How have they been able to still keep programming?
Well, they're working on that, and in both the library and the recreation department are currently developing programming for this summer. You'll find it on their Facebook pages. One of the first ways they've done it, and both departments work together, the library and the rec department, they did story time in the park, and they take children's books and then take them apart and space them out on a fence line where there's like a sidewalk along a fence, and parents can take their children there and walk along the fence and read a children's book, but outside in the park. So it gets people out in the park again. One of those is at the fence line along our pool, and then one is the fence line in Girk Park. So there's 2 different parks that are set up that way, but that's just the start of it. Both the library and the rec department are working very hard right now to develop both kind of a series of virtual programming and then some even small in-person programming that they're able to do, maybe later in the summer when some of the guidelines have loosened.
Okay.
So watch those Facebook pages for the Lois Wagner Memorial Library and the City of Richmond Recreation Department. Okay.
Now, how do the social distancing guidelines impact City Council and other board meetings?
Sure. Certainly, like many communities, the first few meetings of kind of April going into May, we used Zoom for our council meetings. When we did that, we always had all the links to log into those meetings on the website. We've since transitioned into kind of somewhat more personal meetings. We've been able to kind of set up our council chambers in a different way. And with your help, we've been able to put cameras and microphones and conference calls, phones into what we call our community room that is right next door. So we post that on the agenda. So if you're coming to a council meeting, the public will be in one room, the council will be another. Everyone will be sitting at tables 6 feet apart, including the audience. That's how we've set up the community room. We do have a staff person in that room to help kind of bridge the gap and let the public know when it's their turn to speak. And it's been working well. And we're going to kind of expand that model into some of our other boards, Cable Commission and Planning Commission, EDC and TIFA, I think are next up. You know, we've had to cancel a lot of the non-essential meetings for that short period of time, but now that some of the guidelines have kind of loosened, we're able to go back to having some in-person meetings. We keep, as I mentioned, all of the board members 6 feet apart. They have their own little table to sit at. And then we keep the public in another room. We've set tables up 6 feet apart again in that room, and they watch on the video, and they have a speakerphone and microphone to help them participate with that whatever board they're attending.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John, for joining me today and giving us all this information.
You're welcome, Jason. We appreciate your willingness to have us on, have a city administration on to help let the public know what's happening. And again, not just with this show, but anytime they're looking for information, it's always posted to our city website, which is cityofrichmond.net. If you look on the kind of the left-hand side of the homepage is news and announcements, and they'll find all of the press releases, public notices that I've put out on that location. All
right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yep. Thank you.
So as John just said, you can go to www.cityofrichmond.net and you can go on the website, and all the latest information will be posted there in their news feed. You can also subscribe to be notified of any alerts that come up, whether it's an emergency or just the everyday stuff that they post to get information out to the public. You can view this and any other program on Richmond TV Channel 6 within the Richmond area, and you can also view us on our YouTube channel. Just search Richmond TV 12 in the YouTube search bar, and they'll take you right to us. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you get all notifications of when programming will be on. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day.